Warm welcome viewers, you're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Choudhary. The big story of the day, well, there have been many today, but the biggest was the Supreme Court's order which came on Gyan Wapi. But there was other big development which has sparked a massive political debate. What was it? Well, it was an event. A location was Jaipur. The event was the BJP top brass brainstorming meet to strengthen the party. The agenda in question was 25 years roadmap for the Bharatiya Janata Party. The Sutradhar was stitched together by the Prime Minister, addressing the BJP top brass through video conferencing. The star performer, the star campaigner, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, while setting the 25-year plan for the party, tore into the opposition on 2 counts.
कि जो लोग विकासवाद की राजनीति से बच नहीं सकते, मजबूरन विकासवाद में आना ही पड़ रहा है, तो उन्होंने राजनीति में विकासवाद को भी विकृति के दिशा में धकेल दिया है। ये राजनीतिक दल तत्कालीन लाभ के लिए, फायदे के लिए देश के उज्जवल भविष्य के साथ, राज्य के उज्जवल भविष्य के साथ, देश की युवा पीढ़ी के भविष्य के साथ खिलवाड़ करते हैं, उसे खोखला करने का भी काम कर रहे हैं। ये राजनीतिक दल अपने स्वार्थ के लिए समाज में जो छोटी मोटी तनाव होते हैं, कुछ कमजोरियां होती हैं, कुछ परसेप्शन होते हैं, उसे ढूंढ करके उसमें जहर डालने का काम करते रहते हैं, उस कमजोरियों पर ही खेलते रहते हैं। कभी जाति के नाम पर, कभी क्षेत्रवाद के नाम पर लोगों को भड़का रहे हैं।
So all right viewers, there you heard it. Count 1. Prime Minister Modi slammed the opposition, saying the opposition indulges in politics that is divisive on the account of caste, region, religion, that they are trying to exploit small fissures in society for political gain. Well, on the other hand, the opposition, primarily the Congress, says it's the pot calling the kettle black. The BJP is doing it. But the other big attack by Modi, slamming dynastic politics, saying since independence, dynastic politics have done so much damage. Family parties have indulged in corruption, in rigging, in nepotism. Fight dynastic politics to make democracy meaningful, is what the Prime Minister said to the BJP top brass in Jaipur, attacking dynastic politics. The Congress too held a press conference later and tore into that statement, saying, you know, if you wanted to address the likes from your own party, naming Jyotiraditya Scindia, Jitin Prasad, those who've come from the Congress as well, Anurag Thakur, their own leader, you should have spoken to them directly. Why embarrass them on a public platform? So that's the question we asked viewers on dynastic politics, because clearly both parties equally guilty, the BJP and the Congress, and the big moot point today, who's trying to vitiate the country's atmosphere for political gain. A big face-off this evening. Shehzad Poonawalla, spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party. Rohan Gupta, spokesperson, Congress. Shehzad Poonawalla, what did the Prime Minister mean today when the Prime Minister said that certain political parties, primarily the opposition here, trying to vitiate the atmosphere by exploiting fissures in society for be it caste, be it community, be it region or religion?
Thank you, Preeti. Preeti, there are some parties which put Parivar Hit above Desh Hit, who do Rajniti over Rashtra Niti, and you can see it. When a court order comes on hijab, some parties in the chakkar of vote bank oppose it. When a court order comes on loudspeaker, they oppose it. Their allies in Tamil Nadu, particularly a minister called Ponmudi, says that Hindi speakers are Pani Puri sellers, and the reason why they do this, why they play this divide and rule card like they've been doing from 1947 onwards, is because today in Rajasthan for the last 1 year, the unemployment rate has been above 20% consistently. In December, it was 30%. The highest prices for petrol, by the way, are in Mumbai, governed by Congress Party, in Rajasthan, governed by Congress Party, 180 to 120 rupees a litre, whereas it is 105 rupees in Uttar Pradesh. This is because the Maharashtra government has the fiscal space to cut tax on imported liquor, but not on petrol. And therefore, they've earned 77,000 crores, which they don't want to spend on the public welfare. Today, in last 8 years, we have given 13 crore toilets. We have given 9 crore cylinders to people. We have given 3 crore houses. We have given 5 crore tap connections. We have given 80 crore people free rations. We have spent 91.1 lakh crore rupees on capital infrastructure and on social sector. They in 10 years spent 49 lakh crores. And because they do not have answers for the Vikaswad that the BJP offers, their Parivarvaad forces them to play the divide and rule card. They will divide the country. They will divide classrooms. They will partition every place on the card of on religion, on jati or on Kshetravad. If that is not the case, I asked Rohan Gupta to tell us what is their stand on the minister from DMK who said Hindi speakers are Pani Puri sellers.
All right, Rohan Gupta, do come in, because the Congress went out on a limb to say that it is the BJP, it's the pot calling the kettle black.
Preeti, if you see Modi ji or the spokesperson of the party, even after 8 years of power, you find that they are still in opposition. They don't have anything to speak about their government. They are in power for 8 years in central government. Petrol and diesel are at all-time high. Rupee is at all-time low. Foreign funds are, our dollar, the rupee is getting weaker and weaker. And if you see unemployment, all the factors, if you see this government is doing really worst, but they don't have any words for that. See, it was expected out of Prime Minister to admit that what is happening at China border, they are building the second bridge, and you could see the reaction of the ministry. It is really pathetic to see this kind of reaction from the ministry, accepting and having the lame response to China. He spoke about Parivarvaad. Let me again add more examples to what our party presser did. Vijaya Raje Scindia, Vasundhara Scindia, Dushyant Raje, Rajnath Singh, Abhishek Singh, Gopinath Pankaja Mude, Yashwant Singh, Jayant Singh, Kalyan Singh, Rajveer Singh, Devendra Pradhan, Dharmendra Pradhan, Premnath Dumal, Anurag Thakur. And there are more from Pramod Mahajan, Poonam Mahajan, Yedurappa Raghvendra. So, see, this is not the time to talk about opposition, Preeti. This is the time where we see that India is going the way China, Sri Lanka has gone. It is the time to save the country. Rather than addressing the problem, they are just doing divide and rule. See, what are the issues which are running in media today, Preeti? What are the issues concerning the country, and what are the issues which are propped by BJP? Because they know that if they allow people to think rationally, if they allow people to go on the basic issues, their power will go. When our Chintan Shivir happened, we spoke about India, we spoke about country, we did the resolution part of it. Because for us, people are important. And for BJP, what is important is opposition bashing. Because if opposition is not quiet, their failures will be exposed and they will be nowhere. So I think as a power, my expectation from these parties, if you are in power for 8 years, at least be honest, be rational. Please
Rohan Gupta, when you said they don't want to allow people to think rationally, let's not undermine the people, the voter or the citizens there. Everybody has a mind of their own and can process everything on their account. But having said that, I want to take what you said. I'll come back to you, sir. You can explain your statement later. But Shehzad, Poonawalla, let's go one by one. Dynastic politics. You have over 46 dynasts in your own party. So what does the Prime Minister mean when the Prime Minister says that you have to fight dynastic politics to save democracy? Look into your own house.
Okay. First of all, Preeti, as a responsible opposition in Rajasthan, I posed questions about Rajasthan, which my dear friend completely skipped answering about the unemployment. But having said that, let me explain dynastic politics. I left that party because of this issue. The topmost post in the BJP or the Prime Minister's post is not reserved for any one family. Yes, if you have talent, you can rise in this party. In the last 25 years, how many Congress presidents, apart from Rahul and Sonia, has the Congress party had, or Samajwadi Party, or JDS, or RJD? And look at the BJP. In the last 25 years or 30 years, we've had 11 presidents, none of them son of anybody, none of them father of anybody. But having said that, let me tell you what we've achieved in the last 7-8 years. We are the fastest growing, largest economy in the world. Even the IMF, even the economists is forced to accept that. In the last 8 years, we have had the highest foreign exchange reserves. They left it at $250 billion. It's past $600 billion, about $593 billion right now. We have had the highest foreign direct inflow today, $83.57 billion. That has come today. And as far as petrol prices are concerned, my dear friend Rohan Gupta would know that in the last 7 years, years, from 2014 to 21, the petrol prices have risen because of the war in Ukraine, Russia, but that has risen by 36% during their tenure, 2007 to 14, 60% rise. Between 2000 and 2007, 70% rise. Between 1986 to 1993, 125% rise. What phase does he speak with? As far as price rise is concerned, average inflation during UPA tenure was 9%, 9.5%, 10%, or almost 9 times in 2012 to 14. Today it's 6.5 to 7.5%. Yes, it has gone up, but this is also happening in America, where it's highest in 40 years, in UK, where it is highest in the last 20, 25 years, highest in European Union. But having said that, it is still lower than what the Anil Shastri Manmohan Singh gave us. But I still ask my dear friend Rohan Gupta, why are the petrol prices in Mumbai 120 rupees when it's 105 in Lucknow? And why is the unemployment rate in Rajasthan over 20% for the last 1 year? Please answer those questions. You're in power there.
All right, okay. But Shehzad, I'll come back to you. But the question is, you talk about democracy, you talk about one family making all decisions where Congress is concerned. Understandable, plausible, fair point. But when you're talking about democracy, when were the elections in your party for party president? When was a democratically elected president elected, where the BJP is concerned as party president? I'll come back to you, but I want to bring in Rohan Gupta back to respond to the charges that you have laid. Rohan Gupta,
can I answer that?
I'll come back to you, sir. I'll come back to you. Rohan Gupta, the fact is, when we talk about dynastic politics, and a fair point raised by Shehzad, it's not one family, no. It's not one family which will decide. Where you, even in your Chintan Shivar, rules are bent for one particular family when it comes to dynastic families and one family, one ticket.
Absolutely not, Preeti. When you talk about dynastic politics, you tell me, when was Gandhi family in power last? It was when Rajiv ji was Prime Minister. After that, when UPA got elected, Sonia ji never become Prime Minister, right? And if you see, Gandhi family has come to Congress party when it was required by workers. When Sitaram Kesi ji was there, Congress was on bad situation. Sonia ji came, we were in power only in 2 states then. She revamped the party. She worked hard. In 2004, it was very easy for her to become Prime Minister. She never chose to become Prime Minister. You tell me now, this Prime Minister ji has passed the age of Margdarshan Mandal. Still he is there. You tell me who is number 2. So here it's not about dynastic politics. It's not about the power politics. They are there to serve the party. Even today, even in Chintan Shivir, they spoke about the people. For them, power is not important. And my friend was talking about petrol and diesel prices. Let me challenge you. You have looted 25 lakh crores in last 6 years. If you reduce the excise duty, just reduce the excise duty which is increased by you, country can get petrol and diesel at 35 rupees less than what they are getting today. So don't fool the country. The excise rate, the VAT rates have not been increased by any state. It is just because you have increased excise duties by more than 100%. This is the situation. You are fooling the country. As far as dynastic policy is concerned, this is the electoral issue. I have given 40 examples, and let me tell you, if their ideology is such strong, why they are taking people from Congress party who are having dynastic politics? Why? Because for them, power politics is important. You cannot bash on opposition, where wholesale price index, the inflation is at 30-year high, the unemployment is at highest. If you see other parameters, foreign exchange reserves, or rupee, or economy, everywhere we are faltering. And this is a challenging time. Rahul Gandhi ji has cautioned again and again to BJP that yes, please ensure that you don't go Sri Lanka way. But for that, that's not important. They are talking
more than dynastic politics, power politics is important to you, Shehzad, is the charge. But I want to bring, and you said you wanted to answer on the point of when was there an election for your party president, do so. But the last moot point, for a face-off, I'll just introduce it, which is who's trying to vitiate the atmosphere, Shehzad, because the Congress says it is the Bharatiya Janata Party that is trying to wedge a communal divide in the country.
First of all, it's very interesting that Rohan Gupta spoke about Sri Lanka. In fact, Sri Lanka's main crisis is threefold. One, the nepotism and dynastic politics. Rajapaksa's 40 members at one time were in the cabinet or in different parts of the government, and who practices that kind of dynastic and nepotistic politics is known to the people. Please, sir, do not interrupt. You're having a good conversation.
Please, yeah, let's go one by one.
The freebie culture, which the Congress party and the Aam Aadmi party and several parties are responsible for. And by the way, Sri Lanka's debt, by the way, is about 6 lakh crores. Do you know which other states have a debt of 6 lakh crores? Tamil Nadu, 6.8 lakh crores. Maharashtra, 6.8 lakh crores. Tamil Nadu, about 6.6 lakh crores. West Bengal, 5.6 lakh crores. And Punjab, which you just left, is 3 lakh crores. So do please check what you have done to those states. Hopefully, those states will now be able to resolve some of their issues. But having said that, let me come to the issue of power politics and dynastic politics and who's vitiating. Preeti, in the last 6 months, have you seen what has happened in Rajasthan? Jodhpur, the home district of Ashok Gehlot, Karoli, Chhabra, Jhalawar, Tong, Bhilwara. Every second day there is communal violence in Rajasthan, and the Karoli main accused Matloob Ahmed has not been caught yet. The Chhabra main accused has been found in the iftar party of Ashok Gehlot. This is their track record on communal violence. They allow a free march to these rioters, but they take action on Hindu Navvarsh Ki Yatra and they put 144 on Kashmir files. This is their double standards. All they have is to raise nafrat against Hindus, to politicize issues like hijab. By the way, on hijab, the same order which is passed by the Karnataka High Court is actually in place in Maharashtra. In classrooms in Maharashtra, girls can't wear hijab. Aditya Thackeray came out and said that. They never once protested against that. They never once protested against the same arrangement in Kerala. But they were out there protesting against Karnataka and trying to vitiate the atmosphere. So this is the reality. As far as the elections are concerned, Preeti, there is a process in the Bharatiya Janata Party, and that process in the last 30 years has given 9 presidents. When presidents have not performed, they have been replaced and replaced by another president. But please tell me, Priyanka Vadra, day one she becomes General Secretary, loses Uttar Pradesh 1 seat out of 2, then she loses the Vidhan Sabha. The 5 state presidents are asked to resign. Where is the resignation of Priyanka Vadra? This shows that Parivar matters, performance doesn't.
Okay, I want to bring in, may I to be fair, I have my last minute, I want to bring in Rohan, to answer to all your charges. Rohan, Shehzad is saying, look at your own states, maximum communal violence is happening in the state of Rajasthan.
Preeti, if you go in depth, the day before Ashok Gehlot ji has commented that RSS and BJP people are, after that, you tell me who benefits out of this? Only BJP. It's not about only Rajasthan, whether it is Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh,
it's your
Gujarat.
Government.
Let's go one by one, please. Go ahead,
don't
Mr.
speak.
Gupta.
Whenever there are election going states or which are election as going to come, these kind of things happen because BJP is the only party who get benefit out of it, because they want to divert from the core issues of employment, they want to divert core issue of governance. Rajasthan is the only state where Chiranjeevi Yojana, whether health sector or education sector, Mahatma Gandhi School, we have set the example, the role model for the country to follow. Here is the party who is in power for last 8 years at center. He's talking about particular states. Why don't you answer about your failures at central level? Because if you answer that, you know that you have failed completely on all parameters, and unless you divide the people on the grounds of religion, you won't survive at central level. What kind of politics you are doing? You are damaging the country for your short-term politics. Let me tell you, Shehzad,
first of all,
come
just
back,
5 seconds.
Party, and in debate you will say,
just 5 seconds.
Because as an Indian, I really feel that for some benefits, you are damaging the country for long term,
just
which is not
seconds.
going to.
Okay, I'm out of time. 2 seconds.
Seconds,
Shehzad, 2 seconds, one line.
2 seconds, because you gave him time to speak first.
Preeti, first of all, we've all seen the health
Mr.
model
Gupta,
of Rajasthan,
Mr.
where
Gupta,
a
equal
patient's
time has
eyelid
been
was
given.
bitten by a rat.
Okay.
We have seen the health.
Okay, I'm going to.
We've seen the health model of Rajasthan, where a patient's eye was bitten.
Okay.
Was bitten by a rat.
Okay, let's not get into personal stories. There are
Rajasthan
personal
is
stories
concerned,
everywhere. Shehzad, may I, with the permission of both our panelists, bow out of this debate. I hope both of you have gotten equal time. That was our big political face-off, viewers, because alongside the big developing story which has come from the Supreme Court on Gyan Vapi, the big political debate today was the Prime Minister slamming the opposition on 2 counts. One, on dynastic politics. The other, on vitiating the country's atmosphere to drive a wedge where religion, region, community, caste is concerned. You heard both sides out.